Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are doing the Interlude chapter act 3, is it? I think. So yeah, we're going to be doing that today. We're starting here because I accidentally went in and triggered the cutscene. So yeah, we're going to log in and do it straight away. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I hope you're all ready for I'll Hate Them. I'm filming this just before he comes out, so I'm very, very excited for him. But yeah, let's jump into it.
You must have a whole bunch of questions after our last conversation with Nahida. Paimon was ready to ask her a million more questions, but didn't want to seem too pushy. Like, about these Descenders. So, does that just mean people like you who come traveling to Teyvat from someplace else? And as for your sister... Whew, so many questions. Let's go find Nahida and see what else we can find out.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tatara Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma! Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here is just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything.
Still, let's go listen in.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tatara Suna mystery is all about.
Oh, here we go! Talk to the scholars. Right, here we are.
Alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
Sup. Looking for me?
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
If you don't believe me, I'll go.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
So what, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking.
Same.
Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatara Suna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Ah, I see.
I didn't realise that they had their, is it Darshans on their hat? From, you know, the different research placey thingies, those things. Sorry, I can't help this time.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatara Suna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatara Suna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive for a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatara Suna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade.
Oh.
But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger, someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
Me.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This Kabukimono lived in Tatara Suna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kind of fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Alright.
Stop shouting!
Thank you, Paimon. Me and
This
Paimon,
part's
safe wavelength.
important. I just wanted to make it stand out.
Alright, don't yell.
It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the government records office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatara Suna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Could it be?
Wait, so there are two missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
That's why we had to do
Oh, the
Kazua's.
swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art.
Oh.
Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
There's more?
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
Oh, they're talking about Scaramouche.
A puppet?
The Shogun's puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling. The Guido has to be the balladeer he was doing 400 years ago. And just
Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
maybe. Glare at Paimon. Hope she keeps her mouth shut.
No! Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
True, why is that? Oh, Jesus. Okay, get ready for bad story time with Alex. Oh. Fine. A man arrived in Tarasuna around 3 in the afternoon. From afar, he spied labourers walking along the mountain road towards the factories. Their shoes scuffled along the jutting stones. They walked like people, convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract from it gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, I think, beyond mere description for those not present to witness it. A man barked a cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. There, a towering character who stood half a head taller greeted him with a heavy slap on the back, and yet his words were filled with respect. "Do my eyes deceive me, Sir Miyazaki?" I think. "I cannot think that the return trip here from Inazuma City could have been easy on you." However you say, smiled like a young man taking the first steps on their journey, expressions relaxed. "Why, Katsugiri, Inazuma is the realm of the almighty Shogun. I sailed upon the fastest ship, strode upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced? And what about the good news?" There was something natural. The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the pass ended. A young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed onto the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now, the flames of the forge were unlike any others, for their intensity affects the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too, then, was the flame watcher, an unusual individual. His fingertips sat a lizard, and on his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge, and the furnace was deep within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many working alongside the watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Kitsugari and Miyazaki, I think, strode into the room did the watcher turn. The watcher was Niwa, armory officer and administration of Tatatsuna, born in the Niwa city. His name was Niwa and he was born... Oh, Niwa clan, sorry. I read that completely wrong. Born to the Niwa clan, which served as one of the three pillars of the Ishin arts. Niwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a great statement onto himself. Miyazaki, I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that right, I'm so sorry, handed a well-blundered text to Niwa as he adjusted his expression. It is as you have said, sir. The elders of your clan in the city do not think highly of your plan. Yet I still believe it to be worth a try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested. Niwa studied the text and nodded. We should try some of these new forging techniques, whether Kaidahara says yay or nay. Kitsugaru, I don't know why it's changing, frowned, and with a sigh, he said, "Forging is the precise and difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs. And still, you seek improvements each day with terrifying drive. Ah, should my lord Nagamasa hear this, the sourness in his face shall be hard to miss." Again, I'm so sorry. I'm dyslexic, so like I really struggle with like pronunciation of some words. But anyway, Niwa smiled, replying, "And here goes the forge of your lord's great blade, Kitsugaru." Wait, is that the weapon from the last one? Isn't that Kitsugaru in a or something? I'm gonna double check that. Kitsugaru neither wanted to shame his master nor lie to his two friends. Wait, no, it can't be. Maybe Kitsugaru is the guy who created the weapon in Snezhnaya when he was trapped, and then that quest leads... Maybe. Sorry, I'm trying to remember things. Anyway. Kitsugaru neither wanted to shame his master nor lie to his two friends, and yet he could not think of any ways to deflect, and so grossed. I see your eyes are as keen as your hands, Sir Niwa. The jokes of us unlearned men There's nothing before you. Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, Niwa released the lizard from his hand and into Katsugiru's palm. But as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps light with the celebrity of youth. The head peeked in was round, and in the light of the fire looked like an oiled jewel. A young man placed some boxed food at the side, and nodding, he prepared to leave. Kitsugiru called out after him, "What about your share? Aren't you going to eat?" The young man, upon hearing those words, found himself slightly at a loss. After a while, he answered, "Very well, I'll try it." "You're welcome to the food. We all eat the same fare, after all," Niwa said. The man nodded and left, seemingly deep in thought. Oh god. Extract 2. The Kabukamono, I hope, was by the coast. Sunset fell to the accompaniment of darkness. The band of twilights showed themselves naught, for in their place did thunderclouds roll, grumbling the omens of the coming rainstorm. Darkness filled the flesh of the sea, and the dark bade the clouds to kneel upon the land. Its supplication mirrored the Kabukamono. With knees bent and face pointed towards the waters, none passed that way, and none knew what he was waiting for in silence. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, till the black clouds suddenly tore free from the sky and began to circle the Kabukamono, bearing down on him like a nightmare. Though he was not aware at first, after his studying gaze was refined by time, he understood. The clouds had marked him from the very start. Outbound, a fishing boat drew near, the light of its bow flickering in and out of sight beneath falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the area, stealing sight from the fisherman. Repeatedly he exclaimed, "It is but dusk. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone who can deliver my boat upon safe tides?" Like a falling spear, a black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in its briefness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plundered onto the shorelines. Scant stepped away, and Kabukamono stood idle, slanting his head to study the grand wreck. Not but half an arms was left of the one who had cried out for help, and with a plop, it landed at the Kabukamono's feet. He crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite out of it. Yet he did not, for the dark cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. The Kabukamono stared at it blankly, like an awakening dream. When he returned to himself, the clouds had scattered as if they had never been there at all. As for the ship, it could have been struck down by the storm. Who knows? Not the Kabukamono. Oh my god, this is so much. Sorry, like I said, I struggle with reading things. Right. Katsugiru rushed to the doorway and shouted, "My lord, things go ill at the furnace. I have searched for Sir Niwa, but there's no trace of him. And much time has passed since Sir Makasaki left to seek aid, but he hasn't sent us any missive. Look." Mikoshi Nagumasa turned slowly, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke then, the words heavy-laden. I wish not to say such words, Katsugiri. But sir, Maizaki may never return. Katsugiri peered past Nagamasa. I'm never going to learn how to say that. Broad, stiff shoulders. Beyond the windows, the clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if the darkness now was the only weather, and might even morph into an abyssal beast or devouring Tarasuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why Katsugiri recoiled as if he was struck. Yes, it was coming back to him now in dribs and drabs. That was why they had set out to seek aid. Miyazaki had been the first to set sail. The clouds had only just begun to form. Then, travelling from Tarasuna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, and yet there had been no sight of his return. The second ship was sent, followed by a third and a fourth, till the Kabukumono himself had departed upon the tides, under foul skies and ominous fortunes. It had been Katsugiri who had brought him back and treated him as his own, and it pained him greatly to see the lad go. Yet the situation in Tarasuna was severe. Even when they sacrificed more lives, it would have been worthy to gain assistance from Inazuma City. Niwa was gone, and none could find him. Afterwards, Nagamasa led a search party in the mountains and the area around the furnace, to no avail. Folks began to wonder if Niwa might have encountered an accident, but worried soon turned into suspicion, and they wondered if they had fled, unwilling to bear the sin of having caused these incidents. The people grew more suspicious, and Nagamasa himself strained against his discontent and fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. Their presence did not go unnoticed by Nagamasa. He drew his blade and cut, though he only nicked the silken veil of the intruder wore. For a moment, they swayed, and then, like a marionette, I think that says, pulled by strings, they moved behind Nagasama, laughing deeply. Are you seeking someone, my lord? Niwa, perhaps? Nagamasa bellowed in fury. You dare address Sir Niwa directly? Yet the figure parted like mist before his falling blade, only to rematerialize beyond reach and not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. Was it you who slew my people? Nagasamasa howled and charged, held back by the Katsugiri's desperate grip. As his sense returned to him, he realized he was but an inch away from falling into the furnace. It seems that the rest of the work remains unfinished. From the existing text, however, it's apparent that this is a novel of the fantastical, colourful sensibilities born from the imaginations well utilized. Whew!
Oh, and please read my essay draft
Oh
as
god,
well.
no! Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. Details. This text belongs to a series of works sponsored by the Vanahumana Veil Cutter Project. It is yet to be numbered. Author, however. Abstract. The Tasarasuna area has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithy industry. 2 incidents have occurred here, and the details behind the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might be a hidden story behind these events that transpired. Hence, this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from the available data. Glossary. Tasuna area. Raiden Gokuden. Mikoshi Nagamasa. Whatever. The paper continues and explains the work of my mentor, Mr. Rumin. on his report on the happily hidden tales of Tarasuna, and is intended to further this avenue of research. According to the data, the blade forging techniques of Inazuma were originally handed down from the Electro Archon, also known as the Raiden Shogun. Using the arts they inherited from their Archon, the people of Inazuma devoted themselves to the process of forging. However, strange rumors that did not quite fit the steely nature of metalwork yet linger about Tarasuna, which was the central pillar of the forging industry. There, the Mikoshi and Niwa clans, along with the eccentric puppet, served as the three windows of insight we need to investigate the truth of behind what happened. Body. A strange notes from Tarasuna area. Their contents is as follows. 1. Perhaps I overstepped, but I think Sir Nagamasa's mood grows better when he's forging blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain from the name Mikosho must eat him. Also, Sir Katsugiri discovered a nameless eccentric while patrolling around Nazamuchi Beach. 2. The inspector brought a number of jade steel ingots. Sir Katsugiri discussed the matter of smithing deep into the night with the vice armory officer. We made a single Nagamaki. We called it Diatra Nagamasa. This is too many words. The inspector was in high spirits, and he was the vice armory officer. Nozomu. I've never seen this message. Was. Oh, in about an hour. Okay, that's fine. Nazozumu, whatever, was taken by the beautiful of the Daitarian Nagamasa, and he drew a picture of it, and he performed a sword dance with the wandering eccentric. And we could not find that eccentric. The inspector flew into a rage and slashed Katsugiri. The great blade cut deep into his flesh, cast his own Nagamaski into the furnace's flame. It's going into maintenance in an hour. Interesting. Nozomu could not abide by their orders and drew completely melted weapons out of the furnace. He was horribly burned. Nozomu died that night. I dare say that while Sir Katsugiri may have committed maleficence, it was out of the goodness of their heart. I can't with this. There's too many words. Kinjoru hid the Nagomanki and Nozumu's drawings in the arsenal. Nagamasa was hard. I'm never going to learn how to say it. I'm so sorry. But also knows right from wrong. But even so, he did not amendable to reason. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. Still, I and some households of Tarasuna have not been binded by the matter of Nasugamasa's mother, Shiro? And we trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating with Dotariana Nagamasa. Is that how you say it? I'm annoying myself. With him, and the joys of watching that nameless eccentric applaud the sword dance of Katsugiri. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal keys into 3 parts, one for the inspector, one for the armory officer, and left the other in Tatsuma itself to prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither the inspector nor the armory officer could be found, so I was so bold to hide the 3 pieces within the treasure chest in Tatsuma. Okay. The 7 notes mentioned prior have been scattered across the Tarasuna area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seem to be in good physical integrity, though they all look quite old. While the last one is more looks more recent. I believe that the first 6 notes and the last were from different time periods. Though the gulf in years between them needs to be verified, the context of the first 6 should also be related to each other, as the incident mentions are quite consistent with the other. Ruby once mentioned in Happily Hidden Tales of Tarasuma, hereafter known as Hidden Tales, that in the past, researchers from Sumeru had investigated the cultural histories of Tarasuma and Inazuma, though the place had fallen into some degree of despair since the Hidden Tales were written. Things have improved since the time when I wrote the original article. Regarding what I used to be an area of major industry remains a place most hospitable, and residents of Tarasuna may be found living and dwelling by the waters. The residents, when questioned, told the researchers of Tatasuna's golden age centuries ago, when it was administered by the Armory Office Niwa, Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki, and Inspector Mikosho Nagamasa. Yet the elders among the locals with deep ties to the region also seem to stress the fact that they were strange rumors surrounding their homeland's past. A great many of these rumors revolved around the yokai? Maybe. Who are very characteristics of Imazuma's folk history. A small portion, however, repeatedly mention the word puppet. It should be known that the puppets are neither traditional nor common yokai in Inazuma. This fact drew the attention of the researchers to delve further, and eventually the following piece of information came to light. A puppet did once appear in Tatsuna. Its visage was elegant, and apparel impeccable, and the way it dressed hid all joints lined on its body. If no one were to mention that it was indeed a puppet, it would be hard to tell at all. Additionally, this puppet seemed to possess special joint lines that would fade with time, potentially even disappear altogether, which would perhaps eventually make the puppet seem entirely human. The name of the puppet was known to almost none. Some folk claim to have spotted it appearing around Tarasuna, while others mentioned encountering it in the central regions of the area. Even some claimed that it would frequent the beaches. Tales spread of it standing beside the sea, gazing across the waters towards Inazuma City. What it was that the puppet was gazing at remains a mystery. As mentioned earlier, the 6 notes all document a certain nameless eccentric. The eccentric, which can also be read as the kabuki mono, is usually used in Inazuma to refer to a figure who dresses or behaves in a particular manner. It is understandable, therefore, why this character would have left such an impression. Should the people of Tarasuna indeed have had a puppet in their midst occurring mass panic, a good possibility considering the coexistence between the yokai and humans in Inazuma at large, then the puppet would have very unlikely become a local residence. What is less well known is if the Kaboko Muno was just another title for the puppet. Perhaps because it was uniquely dressed to distract attention from its more special characteristics. A workable theory, but that still lacks enough evidence to support it. Still, it can be retained as an analytical lens of sorts. A list of individuals related to Tarasuna have been compiled here based on historical documents from Inazuma, starting from the administrators to the records are as follow. Niwa, full name Niwa side. He was the inheritor of the Ishin art and its successor to the Niwa clan. His family, along with the Akamu and Kaidahara clan, were together known as the Ishin Sansaku. Records show that Niwa was a modest and intelligent individual who displayed remarkable talents in the administration of territory and people. His eventual whereabouts are unknown, but he was suspected to have left Tarasuna with his family following the incident. Right. Miyazaki. Full name, Miyazaki Kano? He was Niwa's second in command. His origins are unknown, and is primarily assisted Niwa in forging and personal management. He was an affable temperament and had many friends in the region, including one Mikoshi Nagamasa. Mikosha Nagamasa, the successor of the Mikoshi clan, adopted son to only warrior Mikoshi Shinyo. Again, I don't know how to, like, the thing with these words and these names is, like, you say certain things and I don't know how to do that, so I'm sorry. And the younger adopted brother to Mikosho Michiro, I think, also known as, oh my god, Iwakura, the successor, Iwakura, oh my god, okay, thank you. I'm trying to read as fast as I can, okay? With his mother missing and abandoned by his brother, Nagatamasa alone bore the family name, striving daily to wipe the shame from their history. Though records state that Mikoshu Nagamasa was a stubborn figure, he was also noted to be a person with moral virtue and integrity. It has been noted in various records that he practiced forging swords for self-cultivation and specially requested special instruction from Miyazaki to further his capabilities. However, after a famous blade, the Daitanari Nagasamasa, was forged, he used it to slay his subordinates Kitsugaru for reasons unknown at present. What? Kitsugaru? Kitsugaru's full name and background remain unknown. Despite all the materials I have sorted through, I have yet to find any more additional personal information regarding him. As one of Mikoshu Nagatamasa's subordinates, he was a loyal warrior who had been saved by Nagamasa in his youth. From then on, he swore to stick by his lord through thick and thin, to give his life in service if it was but asked of him. The Kabu Kimono. Full name unknown, background unknown. From many sources I have compiled and combined with Rumu's personal observations, this character might have been the puppet mentioned in the rumors. The Kokokimono was a figure of fashionable grace and gentleness. According to the hidden tales, he was brought back to Tarasuna by Kitsugaru and became a member of the community. When the Kokokimono first arrived in Tarasuna, he knew nothing of cleaning, cooking, or any works of meticulous nature. The locals taught him their skills over time, showing him how to clean his entire dance and craft small trinkets. Records state that the Kokokimono was there when the Daitanara Nagasamasa was forged. Though his trial ends before Mikoshu Nagasamasa slew Kitsugaru, I believe that the Kokokimono was indeed the aforementioned puppet, and that he quite likely had a hand in Katsugiri's death. It seems that the rest of the paper remains unfinished. One thing for sure, though, a lot of thought was put into it. A lot of thought and a lot of names that I have no idea how to say. Again, I do apologize. Being dyslexic makes things very difficult to read.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it. Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawana's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
I love that. Guessay? Has this guy ever written an essay before?
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
True. Also, this guy sounds British. Is he from... I think he might be from Inazuma. Or this Inazuma type of outfit.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay!
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh?
Mm-hmm.
After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it? If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
In what? Huh? He's just walking around? What's wrong?
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
It is him.
No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Okay, let's go. Oh, the balladeers.
Following me.
No, no one. Well, I guess we are technically following you in a weird sense. But, like, you're following you. So, like, you know. Spooky. Right, let's go. Da 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 da. Nahida! I love this music.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida! Bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah! It's him!
Hey, dude.
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey! What are you doing in the sanctuary of Surasthana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
Okay.
A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down? But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I, for one, have no reason to doubt you, considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
True.
Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a Harbinger anymore?
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
So he tossed you out like trash.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
What? Why does that make so much sense? Like, yeah, that is actually like 100% what humans do. Oh god. Why do I relate to the Balladeer way more? Or Skirmish? Really? What a crying shame.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen to him!
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
Mine? For me?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am.
Oh, I
He
get
was
it.
granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
What if he lies to you?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him!
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all. Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Thank you, Nahida.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Got it.
Great. Thank you.
No worries.
Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Now? No, I only have half an hour left before the servers go down.
Wow, it looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
True.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Nahida sent me to babysit you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Understood.
Fine, let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are going to be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
Pretty?
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
There's no need for all the biting sarcasm.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Okay.
Wow. So this is the inside of Irminsul.
It's different than what I imagined.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
I get it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
I'll try.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen? What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Okay. Ooh. What is that? Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, I wish I could get a really good screenshot.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
Okay. What happens if I do touch it? We know it's like when someone says don't press the red button. Oh.
It looks the same in every direction.
Seems like the Balladeer is more used to it than I. Oh.
No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Oh. Thank you, game.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
I love it. It's the center of Earth from all the information of the world is flowing through it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. Establishing waypoint.
The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
He hasn't put up any resistance and seems good at working on the front line. Maybe he had a... Oh. The stories now. This strange individual. Yeah.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Nahida, is this a telepathic conversation?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Cool.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
Yeah, we can. I'm guessing you don't want to disturb the Balladeer.
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
True.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladier's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Yes, and he seems to excel at doing odd jobs for others.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
And about his past, the betrayals, and the other events in Inazuma.
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
I've actually caught a glimpse of a few things when I ran into Hypatia at Parastia.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Okay.
Oh? How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gese got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
We have the right to keep certain things confidential.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait! How did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Every conversation with you is hard work, but your attitude is better than I thought.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh? Wait.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatarasuna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
The name Niwa is the man in charge of
Whoa!
I have been in Tatarasuna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatarasuna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. People are gainfully employed, their lives have purpose. They are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatarasuna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate, and I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace.
Oh.
We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand.
Oh.
If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act! We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Well, he has a sword on his
Honestly,
back.
I'm just waiting for the right moment.
No.
A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatara Suna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Wait.
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place?
Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person.
It's the doctor.
Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger.
Nowhere.
Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity. Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
Oh, that was a lot to unpack.
Hey, are you alright?
Dottore? Dottore! Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
He was the one behind the Tatarasuna incident.
But why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
The betrayal was a lie he had believed for 100 years. This is part of the Doctor's experiment. If the betrayal never happened, he existed only in his imagination. Where does this leave him?
Let's give him some space. He looks really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
Okay, let's go over there.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Can we give him...
I'm still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Being betrayed and abandoned by a close friend is sure to give great resentment. Now we know the decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokunin 100 years ago. But it doesn't mean that vengeance was the right decision.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Dotori, you brazen-faced...
Oh.
Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
I'm not going to be able to leave. No. We have like 8 minutes.
Shall we see how he's doing?
No.
Hey, you alright? That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend.
I just want to make sure this doesn't affect the plan.
It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Teyvat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Not unexpected, but still thank you.
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens responded?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your sister for a time.
What? Why?
I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me.
What did you want to know?
Give me your hand.
In marriage? In what?
Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Are you trying to brainwash me?
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past?
Yeah, it is. Wait, why would you ask that?
Done.
Huh? What the? What happened? Paimon only saw you hold hands for a second.
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me.
Wait, that look. Did you see me hesitate? Was it because I know about Great Lord Rukkhadevata? Oh, and I think not
So
divine
long.
immediately.
I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Baladir, stop!
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Baladir and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all.
Balladeer! Balladeer! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
Oh, thank God you're leaving. Oh no!
Oh no, he's really gone.
Yeah?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Palladir, what happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
It was the Palladir's fault. He shut you out!
Oh god.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
I'll try. Oh, thank God. Okay, it's going to be a good place to stop. Hopefully. No, don't carry on. Oh, it's a cutscene as well.
And we're at, an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you.
No, I want to help you.
I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida?
No!
I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nahida, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Palladir meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before? He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible!
It's not easy, that's for sure.
Right! You can't just rewrite history. All that stuff happened already in real life. It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it.
Yeah, great example.
So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Oh, Paimon's so confused.
Maybe he wants to erase himself from history.
Huh?
Paimon, are you okay?
Sorry. Paimon accidentally... It's the Palladir's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress. But erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul?
Not necessarily, but maybe. I'm just guessing here.
Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working. Ugh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise, won't everyone who's connected to him be affected too? There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next?
No idea.
Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight.
Neither will I.
So, how about, we probably gonna collapse of anxiety here. Alright, Paimon will start. First dish. Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewers. Tea break pancakes. Cream stew. Sauteed matsutake. And drained chili chicken. Almond tofu. Satisfying salad. Oh, also Adeptus Temptation, golden shrimp balls, triple layered consomme, lotus seed and bird egg soup, and
Paimon, what's wrong? Oh, did the balladeer do his thing?
What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now? Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. What was it again?
So you were worried about the situation with the balladeer, then you started listing foods.
The balladeer? Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name, though.
He did it. He erased himself. Paimon doesn't remember the balladeer. That must mean he actually pulled it off. But how did he have the ability? This doesn't make sense.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said?
No, it's nothing.
So, the balladeer. Is that someone's name? 'Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
Oh god. If this really happened, I need to know what else has changed. Paimon, come with me.
Okay, sure. Where are we going?
I want to go back to Inazuma.
Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Now's not the time to explain. Let's get over there first.
We've made it! To Amanoma Smithy!
Ah, it's been a while.
Pardon me. I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Of course. Go ahead. Oh. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. Very well. I'll tell you what I know once more. The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches. Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became 5 distinct traditions. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive. But fortunately, Kaedehara Kazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, 2 clans remain of the original Gokuden 5. If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Oh yeah, we were! Paimon remembers that now. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then too. It seems like such a shame.
What was the reason behind their decline?
That, my friends, is a tragic tale indeed. In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise, but never the cause. Only recently, when the question was on my mind, did I ask Kaedehara Kazuha about this. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark and sorrowful tale.
Okay.
The Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatara Suna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster.
That's Niwa? I think that's how you say it. I think that's Niwa. Did the balladeer... So, okay, from what I'm getting, the balladeer or Scaramouche made everyone forget him, but then changed the story to where Niwa didn't die from Dottore. He died saving everyone. That's actually kind of sweet if that's what happened.
Tatara Suna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan.
He did.
Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but neither of them made it out.
Oh my god. He changed the story from them being deserters and like disappearing, as Dottore told, to them being heroes. Oh, that makes me feel a warm, even though it's like a very sad story. But like the balladeer doing that.
The smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphan son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the world. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father's death, and he hated everyone who had done nothing to try and save him. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, the then head of this family reached the end of his wits. He could bear their fate no longer, and yet he could do nothing to change it.
Oh, that's the guy we read about.
Finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokuden. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan which he belonged to. His goal was absolute, the devastation of all of the Raiden Gokuden. But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back fiercely, and they did not spare his life. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
Oh. The legend of the Raiden Gokuden has changed. Someone else attacked the swordsmiths. It looks like the balladeer did something in Irminsul, but it seems Niwa still died. Yeah, I don't think you can change you can't change history, but you can change the perception of history.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Have you seen Kazuha recently?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea. He seemed well.
Oh. Phew, so he still exists, and he's the same Kazuha I know. Things don't seem as bad as I feared last night. That's all. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? Your expression says it all. You can't hide anything from Paimon. On to the next stop. Lead the way, traveler. Paimon will be right behind you.
Thanks, bestie.
We're here. This is the Yashiro Commission's headquarters, so...
Traveler, it's been a while.
Hello.
If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent, you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
Thank you. We'll take you up on your offer. Can we take a walk in the courtyard?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it should be okay.
We'll be heading in then. Thanks!
Hello, dears. Is there something you want to say?
Ma'am, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told me about you. What would you like to know?
How are the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato these days?
Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings and occasionally paying visits to some local organizations on the Commissioner's behalf. As for the Commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever. That much hasn't changed. Although he does seem to be in a rather good mood these days.
So pretty much business as usual in the Yashiro Commission, huh?
Very much so.
Whoa. Ayato is still the Yashiro Commission. Ayaka is still the Lady of the House. No changes there. Ah. As far as I can see, nothing changed in the Yashiro Commission either. I was expecting as much, but still a big relief to know that the Kamisato siblings are both safe and well.
Well, got any more questions?
That's all for now. Many thanks.
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must be far too busy to have time for that.
I would if you speak faster. Sorry, ma'am. Oh.
Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend, and she's always saying how talented you are and how much she admires you. I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining armor, you know. You're a hero to us all.
I'm flattered.
I mean it. Whenever the Commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. I always find myself at my most relaxed when I'm serving the two of them and listening to them chat away. The Commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home, but given the opportunity, he always prefers to dine here. They say it's because Toma's a much better chef than most. Oh, the Commissioner is so fond of home comforts. They get to talking about you sometimes too, you know.
Me?
Always with a very fond tone. the way one would talk about dear old friends around whom one can truly be themselves. Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family gets together and they start talking about people they've met and experiences they've had, you always get a mention. It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Mrs. Kamisato passed away. Much has happened in the Kamisato clan in that time. As someone who is old and gray enough to have watched their son and daughter grow up, it makes me so happy to see them meet a dependable friend whose company they enjoy so much. So, in the future, if you ever do have the time, please know you are always very welcome at the Yashiro Commission headquarters. There will always be at least one old lady who would be delighted to have the pleasure of your company.
Thank you very much. I will visit again.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Paimon likes it here too. Also, you were saying something about the food here being really great.
Please don't get her talking again. Please.
Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime. Paimon meant we should come pay a visit again real soon. Ideally around dinner time.
Of course. You're always welcome.
Alright, goodbye for now. Where are we going next?
To Tarasuna.
Great! Goodbye, ma'am. Don't worry, we'll see ourselves out.
Bye.
All right, then. Take care now. Hope to see you soon.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep, everything's taken care of now. Don't worry.
Very well. Safe travels. Goodbye.
Bye. Alright. To Tarasuna.
Well, here we are. But what are we looking for? Something or someone?
Oh.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that the traveler in Paimon?
Xavier, what are you doing here?
I was in the general area, and now I'm in this specific area. There, that's me. So what about you two?
We have some questions and thought you might be able to help.
How much do you know about Tarasuna?
Certainly do. I've researched the furnace here in some depth. If there's anything you want to know, just ask away.
How well do you understand the history of the area?
Like the back of my hand. Make no mistake, I have been here a good many times before. Not only that, but I've met people in Inazuma whose families used to live in Tatarasuna years ago. They said it's all true, the history here.
Go on, I'm listening.
Oh, well, it's a long story, don't you know? The tale of Tatarasuna starts a long time ago. I'm told that its history is one of the most foremost forging and smelting operations in the nation, goes back around 1,000 years. Still, the furnace has had a couple of serious maintenance issues along the way.
A couple? When exactly?
One was just in the last few years, the other was several hundred years ago. A fun fact, I'm not the first Fontaine tech guy to come and work on it either. There was a guy back then too. They say he was a mechanic who consulted on a technology upgrade. It seems like the technological collaboration between our two nations goes back a long way. How about that?
Mechanic, The doctor still sabotaged the furnace, leading to all ensuing chaos.
Weren't you gonna ask Xavier something about Tatarasuna? Come on, ask already.
I am.
Oh, I didn't realize you two were here for a history lesson.
I am.
Me neither. Paimon doesn't know what's gotten into this one today. Feels like we've been preparing for a history exam or something.
What brought this on? Did you just wake up today with a sudden burning desire for historical knowledge?
Pretty much. So can I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of the Kabuki-mono connected to Tarasuna?
A kabuki mono?
A kabuki mono. Wow.
No, I can't say that I have. I do know the word, Inazuman for those eccentric types who always go around dressed to the nines. Just the sort of person that I'd like to meet, actually. But sadly, I've never had the pleasure, nor have I come across anything to do with a kabuki mono where Tatarasuna is concerned.
Oh. So there's no more Kabuki-mono. Oh my god, I'm never going to be able to say this. Did the balladeer really manage to erase himself from history completely? If so, he must have wanted to change the world and revert everything back to the way it was. But so far, it looks like the majority of changes have only affected him. Thank you, Xavier.
Of course! Don't mention it.
Oh, we're leaving? Okay, bye, Xavier.
Xavier.
Oh, you're most welcome. More than happy to help. Farewell.
I should just give up on trying to say names.
Looks like you got all the information you're looking for.
Time to go back and see Lesser Lord Kusanagi.
Sure, but what's up with you today? Whatever it is, it seems like it's really troubling you. Keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. No matter what happens, Paimon will always be there for you.
Keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. Oh, I love this. Cute. Thank you, Paimon.
Hey, don't mention it. Alright, let's head off and go meet Nahida.
Oh.
Hey, it's them.
Oh, hey.
Akaba, Sawada, you're still here?
Are you still talking about the essay?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment, we'd love for you to join us once more.
No. No, don't make me read, please.
We have time. What do you want to talk to us about?
It's the same topic we discussed last time. Obviously.
Still looking for more info about Tatarasuna, huh? Should we join them?
Perfect. These two research Tatarasuna's past. Let's hear what they have to say.
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real progress.
The article that you let me read last time was great. Can I read it again? No.
Huh? Oh, of course.
Right. We have already looked at this, but the Tatarasuna details this text belongs to a series of works sponsored by Valahuma Veil Cutter Project. It is yet to be numbered. Author Abaqual. Abstract. The Tatarasuna era has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithing industry. The two incidents have occurred here. The details behind the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might be a hidden history behind the events that transpired. Hence, this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from available data. The Raiden Gokuden Mikosho Nagamasa. The paper continues and expands the work of my mentor, Mr. Rumin, on his reports on the happily hidden tales of Tarasuna, and is intended to further the avenue of research. According to the data, the blade forging techniques of Inazuma were originally handed down from the Electro Archon, also known as the Raiden Shogun. Using the arts they inherited from their Archon, the people of Inazuma devoted themselves to the process of forging. However, strange rumors that did not quite fit the steely nature of metalwork yet linger about Tarasuna's smelting center, which was a central pillar for the forging industry. There was Mikosho and Niwa clans, along with the eccentric mechanic from abroad. Oh, so they've changed it. So it's not the eccentric wanderer, it's the mechanic from abroad. Okay. Serves as the 3 windows of insight we need to investigate the truth behind what happened. Body. A strange note from the Tarasuna area. Their contents are as follows. Perhaps I overslept, but I think that Sir Nagamasa's mood grows better when he forges blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain of the name Mikosho must eat him. The inspector brought a certain number of jade steel ingots. Sir Kitsugaru discussed matters of smelting deep into the night with the vice armory officer. We at last made a single Nagamaki. We call it Daitara Nagamasa. The inspector was in high spirits, and he and the vice armory officer Nozomu was so taken by the beauty of Daitara Nagamasa that he drew a picture of it. The inspector flew into a rage and slashed Katsugiri. The great blade cut deep into the flesh, cast his own Nagamasa into the furnace flames. Nomozo could not abide by the order and drew completely melted weapons out of the furnace. He was horribly burned. Nomozo died that night. I dare say that while Sir Katsugiri may have committed maleficence, I think, it was out of the goodness of his heart. Kinjiro hid the Nagamasa and Nomozo's drawing in the arsenal. Nagamaso is harsh, but also knows right from wrong. But even so, he is not amenable to reason. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. Still, I and some households of Tatarasuna have not been blinded by the matter of Nagamasa's mother. Is it Chiro? And we trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joys of creating the Daitara Nagamasa with him. I'm just going to skip it because I'm just going to pretend. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal into 3 parts. One for the key into 3 parts. One for the inspector, one for the armory officer, and one left in Tarasuna itself to prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither the inspectors nor the armory officer could be found, so I was bold enough as to hide the 3 pieces within treasure chests into Tarasuna. 7 notes mentioned prior have been scattered across the Tarasuna area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seem to be in good physical integrity, though they all look quite old. While the last one looks more recent, I believe that the first 6 and the last are from different time periods, though the gulf in years between them needs to be verified. The contents of the first 6 should be related to each other, and as the incident mentioned are quite consistent with one another. Rumor once mentioned in the happily hidden tales of Tarasuna, herefore known as the Hidden Tales, that in the past, researchers from Sumeru had investigated the cultural history of Tarasuna and Inazuma. Through the place has fallen into some degree of despair since the Hidden Tales were written. Things have improved since the time when I wrote the original article. Regardless, what used to be an area of major industry remains a place most inhospitable, and residents of Tatarasuna may be found living and dwelling by the waters. The residents, when questioned, told the researchers of Tatarasuna's golden age centuries ago, when it was administrated by Armory Officer Niwa, Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki, and Inspector Makosho Nagamasa. Yet, the elders among the locals with deep ties to the region also seemed to stress the fact that there were strange rumors surrounding their homeland's past. A great many of these rumors revolve around the yokai, who are so very characteristics of Inazuma's folk history. A very small portion, however, mentioned the word outsider. It should be known that the appearance of such a character, who is suspected to be based on a real person, is a very curious case. The fact drew the attention of the researchers to delve further, and eventually the following piece of information came to light. A foreign mechanic once visited to Tarasuna, Reportedly, the reason for his immigration was to exchange knowledge and forge ties with the locals. However, the mechanic seemed to behave suspiciously, often wandering around essentials or restricted areas, and if someone tried to turn him away, they would only earn incomprehensible numbers from his lips. The mechanic often stared into the furnace, seemingly to check on its condition. Unsettlingly, he also spent a substantial amount of time watching the local residents. Judging from the area, it was not uncommon to see cross-cultural exchanges of technical knowledge in places such as Tatarasuna. After traveling across the tides, foreign experts began welcoming in the I'm having a moment. In the region was likely not unreasonable either, yet calamity came not long after this exchange of knowledge, which hints at high potential of causation between these events. However, some current residents believe that these assumptions are merely the result of their forebearers' overactive imagination, attempting to theorize how things actually unfolded. A list of individuals related to Tatarasuna have been compiled here based on historical documents from Inazuma. Starting from the administration, the records are as following. Niwa Hisaside. He was the inheritor of the Ishin art and the successor to the Niue clan. His family, along with the Akami and Kaidahara clans, were together known as the Ishin Sansaku. Records show that Niwa was a modest and intelligent individual who displayed remarkable talents in the administration of the territory and people. His eventual whereabouts are unknown, but he was suspected to have left Tatarasuna with his family following the incident. Okay. Miyazaki Kanyo. I don't know. He was Niwa's second in command. His origins are unknown. He primarily assisted Niwa in forging and personnel management. He was an affable, temperamented, and had many friends in the region, including one Mikosho Nagamasa, the successor of the Mikosho clan, adopted son to Oni warrior Mikosho Shiro, and the younger adopted brother to Mikosho Meishiro, also known as Iwakura, the successor. Again, like I said, these names, it's the accent I can't do, so that it throws me. Anyway, with his mother missing and abandoned by his brother, Nagamasa alone bore the family name, striving daily to wipe the shame from their history. Though records state that Mikosho Nagamasa was a stubborn figure, he was also noted to be a person of moral virtue and integrity. It has been noted in various records that he practiced forging swords for self-cultivation and specially requested special instructions from Mayakasa to further his capabilities. However, after the famous blade, the Tatara Nagamasa, was forged, he used it to slay his subordinates, Kitsugiri, for reasons unknown at present. Subordinate Kitsugiri. Kitsugiri's full name and background remain unknown. Despite all the materials I have sorted through, I have yet to find any more additional personal information regarding him. As one of Mikosho Nagamasa's subordinates, he was a loyal warrior who had been saved by Nagamasa in his youth. From then on, he swore to stick by his lord through thick and thin, to give his life in service if it was asked of him. The mechanic. Long have I delved through many texts and documents, but I was ultimately unable to decipher even a spectre of a clue to his background. Still, mentions of the mechanic grew scarcer in the aftermath of Tatarasuna's incidents. I speculate that, instead of the mechanic possibly being a figure woven from overripe imagination. He actually did exist and perhaps even had a hand in the events that took place in Tarasuna. It seems that the rest of the paper remains unfinished. One thing's for sure, though. A lot of thought was put into it. Right, sorry, I had to get another coffee after all that speaking.
I presume you'll want to read mine as
No!
well.
If I don't learn these names by the end of this, you know what? Someone just shoot me. Okay. A man arrived in Tarasuna around 3 in the afternoon. From afar, he spied labourers walking the mountain road towards the factories, their shoes scuffling along the jutting stones. They walked like people convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract from it gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, beyond mere description, for those not present to witness it. A man barked a cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. There, a towering character stood half a head taller, greeted him with a heavy slap on the back, and yet his words were filled with respect. Do my eyes deceive me, Sir Miyazaki? I cannot think that the return trip here from Inazuma City could have been easy on you. Miyazaki smiled, like a young man taking the first steps on their journey. Expressions relaxed. Why, Kitsugiri, Inazuma is a realm of the almighty Shogun. I sailed upon the fastest ship, strove upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced? And what about the good news? There was some, naturally. The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the path's end. A young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed into the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now, the flames of the forge were unlike any others, for their intensity affected the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too, then, was the Flame Watcher an unusual individual. At his fingertips sat a lizard. On his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge, and the furnace was deeper within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many workers alongside the Watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Kitsugiri and Miyazaki strode into the room did the Watcher turn. The Watcher was Nimwa, armory officer and administration for Tarasuna. Born to the Niwe clan, which served as one of the 3 pillars of the Ishin arts, Niwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a statement onto itself. Miyazaki handed a well-blundered text to Niwa as he adjusted his expression and said, It is as you have said, sir. The elders of your clan in the city do not think highly of our plan. Yet I still believe it to be a worthy try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested. Niwa studied the text and nodded. We should try some of these new forging techniques, whether Kaidahara says yea or nay. Katsugiri frowned, and with a sigh he said, Forging is a precise and difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs, and still you seek improvements each day with terrifying drive. Should my lord Nagamasa hear this, the sourness in his face shall be hard to miss. Niwa smiled, replying, And how goes the forging of your lord's great blade, Katsugiri? Katsugiri neither wanted to shame his master nor lie to his friends, and yet he could not think of any way to deflect, and so grossed. I see your ears are as keen as your hands, Sir Niwa. The jokes of us unlearned men are as nothing before you. Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, Niwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsugiri's palm. But just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps steady and confident. The head that appeared by the door was that of one from aboard. A newcomer placed some lunchboxes to the side, nodded, and made to leave. Katsugiri called out after him, "Sir, what about your meal? Are you not hungry?" The man smiled upon hearing Katsugiri's word. "I already ate. I hope that you, my lords, may also find time to state your hunger soon. You are our guests, sir. To see you help in this trifling matters fills me with embarrassment," Niwa said with sincerity. The man smiled, as if it was no matter. Then, with a nod, he departed. The stranger, a foreign mechanic, stood next to the coast. Sunset fell to the accompaniment of darkness. The band of twilight showed themselves naught, for in their place did thunderclouds roll, grumbling the omens of the coming rainstorm. Darkness filled the flesh of the sea, and the dusk bade the clouds to kneel upon the land. But the man stood uncowed, merely gazing into the distance, radiating bloodthirst. None passed him by, and none knew what he was plotting. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, till the black clouds suddenly tore free from the sky and began to circle the mechanic, bearing down on him like an omen. He was caressed in the dark mist, as if it was a part of his flesh. Outbound, the fishing boats drew near, the light of its bow flickering in and out with the sight beneath falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the area, stealing sight from the fisherman. Repeatedly he exclaimed, "It is but dark. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone who can deliver my boat upon safe tides?" Like a falling spear, a black cloud reached the bottom of the boat, and was joined in its bereavement of direction. Like a charging beast, they plundered onto the shoreline. Scant stepped away. The mechanic laughed, slowly approaching the grand wreck. Naught but half of an arm was left of the one who had cried out for help. But with a plop, he landed at the mechanic's feet, who crouched to better study the object, straining against the urge to take a bite. Yet he did not, for the dark cloud swirled down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. Katsugiri rushed to the doorway and shouted, "My lord, things go ill at the furnace. I have searched for Sir Niwa, but there is no trace of him, and much time has passed since Sir Miyazaka left to seek aid, but he has yet to send us any massive? Look!" Mikosho Nagamasa slowly turned, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke them, his words heavy-laden. "I wish not to say such words, Katsugiri, but Sir Miyazaka may never return." Katsugiri peered past Nagamasa's broad, stiff shoulders beyond the window. The clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if darkness now was the only weather, and might even morph into an abyssal beast and devour Tarasuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why Katsugiri recalled as if struck. Yes, it was coming back to him now, in dribs and drabs. That was why they had set out to seek aid. Miyazaka had been the first to set sail. The clouds had only just begun to form. Travelling from Tarasuna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, and yet there had been no sign of his return. And then the second ship was sent, followed by a third and a fourth. Each who left to seek salvation did so under foul skies and bleak fortunes. Reasons dictate that they should have not risked anyone else, but the situation in Tarasuna was severe. They needed to gain aid from Inazuma, even should it cost them more lives. Niwa was gone, and no one could find him. Afterwards, Nagamasa led a search party into the mountains and the area around the furnace, to no avail. Folks began to wonder if Niwa might have encountered an accident, but worry soon turned into suspicion, and they wondered if he had fled, unwilling to bear the sins of having caused these incidents. The people grew even more suspicious, and Niwa himself strained against his discontent and fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. Their presence did not go unnoticed by Nagamasa. He drew his blade and cut, but in a flash, the evil spirit had shifted behind him, laughing darkly. "Are you seeking someone, my lord? Niwa, perhaps?" Nagamasa bellowed in fury. "How dare you address Sir Niwa directly?" Yet the figure parted like a mist before his falling blade, only to rematerialize beyond the reach, but not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. "Was that you who slew my people?" Nagamasa howled and charged, held back only by Katsugiri's desperate grip. As his senses returned to him, he realized he was but an inch away, falling into the furnace. It seems that the rest of his work remains unfinished. From the existing text, however, it is apparent that the novel is fantastical, clever, so it's blah, 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 blah. Oh my god. Da, da, da. The contents has changed. Other effects on the temperament and the information in Irminsul. Balladeer said he'd erased 2 of the names. He succeeded. He must have taken out.
Well,
but still.
What do you think?
I think it needs to be shorter. A masterpiece.
Hey, Traveler. Remember how last time Akaba was saying how he wished he could gather more information about all this? Well, we just got back from Inazuma. So how about we tell them what we learned?
Wait, what? Sure.
What did you find out? Something big?
It's a long story. Basically, we have some friends in Inazuma, and...
You tell the 2 writers what you learned about the race.
Wow, so many new details. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
It's okay, as long as I don't have to read anything.
So it all comes down to one man's desire for revenge. Huh. You heard this from a member of the Arminoma clan, you say? Then I guess it must be true. Ugh. So there's no ghost story here after all.
This new information actually lends further credence to my hypothesis. Evidently, swordsmiths were seen as having an incredibly prestigious role in society those days, to the extent that harming them was conceived of, at least by the perpetrator, as a way of exacting revenge against those in power.
Yes, okay, point taken, you were right. But that doesn't mean I can't carry on with my novel.
True.
And they're back at it. These guys are really into this.
We've got some things to take care of. Bye for now.
Oh, so sorry. Look at us, prattling on about our projects and ignoring you. Thank you so much for the information.
You're welcome. See ya.
It's fine, just do not
Keep us in the loop if you find out anything else.
No. I do not want to read your reader of the essay. Oh my god. Yeah, reading is not my strong suit at all. But you guys probably could tell. Anyway, let's go see Nahida. Is the Balladeer gonna be here? The Wanderer, sorry. It's me. Sorry. It's late. I'm going crazy. I love it here.
Nahida, we're here!
Hey.
Traveler, Paimon, how have you been?
Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time. That night, we ended up chatting and chatting until suddenly the sun was up. And then he decided he wanted to go to Inazuma.
I was investigating the situation with the Balladeer. She's not going to remember.
The Balladeer? It sounds like some kind of code name.
Oh no.
You look troubled. Is there something you need to tell me?
Even if he doesn't remember, just like last time, any changes to Irminsul will affect her as well. The Balladeer acted quickly. He finished erasing himself before Nikita could stop him. I am the only one who still remembers the things that were erased. Once again, I am the record keeper.
Traveler?
Hey.
Hey, what's wrong? You look so upset.
There are things that have happened that only I can remember. I have to tell you the truth. Are we going to tell her about Greater Lord Rukkhadevata? No! With a heavy heart, you piece back together the story that was broken and scattered across time. There was once was one named the Balladeer, created by the Electro Archon. He was a puppet who lived among men. After a series of events in Tarasuna, the Balladeer, thinking he had been thrice betrayed, left Inazuma to roam the world beyond. With no trust for humans and only loathing for the gods, he bore his grudges for years as he grew in strength. Then returned to Inazuma to take his revenge. He tried in vain to become the deity with a gnosis and ended up losing everything. Finally, he entered Irminsul and learned the truth behind his betrayals. Knowing now that his entire life was built on lies, he did the unthinkable in the attempt to reverse his tragic fate.
That's quite a story. So, this puppet known as the Balladeer erased himself from Irminsul, hoping that he could change the past.
But how was he even able to do that?
As the traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. I don't recall finding anyone inside the machine after we defeated it.
Oh.
Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase themselves from Irminsul, the world would change to reflect the new reality.
So, you believe this person really existed, and we just don't remember him because he literally changed the world?
Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do this. But I'm struggling to imagine the kind of person who would dare go through with it. The traveler comes from a world beyond Teyvat. That's why there's no information about him in Irminsul, and it also explains why any changes to Irminsul wouldn't affect him. So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten, it's you. It's quite incredible when you think about it.
You can say that again.
Paimon's having a hard time understanding this Balladeer guy's motivations. Why did he do it?
I can only make inferences based on the information we've been given. As for what kind of person he was, only you remember that.
I'm not really sure. Ah! We were enemies after all. I don't know his perspective on all this, so I can't say why he did something so extreme. He did want to reset everything, or save someone, or did he want to completely undo his existence? Everything can be set right. It's time to solve this once and for all. Maybe all there is to it. I still remember the question he asked. He asked me specifically, and my hesitation gave him his answer. I hesitated because I witnessed Greater Lord Rukkhadevata erase her own existence, but I can't tell Nahida that. To put it another way, I know why the Balladeer was so sure it could work, but I can't tell them that.
Something else worrying you? Something that you can't share?
He chose such a radical option, and yet...
It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had died, right?
Yeah.
Once the Balladeer realized he hadn't been betrayed after all, it must have completely changed his view of the people of Tatarasuna. Now he saw them as friends again.
Oops.
He couldn't keep hating humans after that. And if he thought there was a chance he could save his old friends, it would be hard not to try. The story makes sense. Every part of it. The Balladeer tried to achieve godhood with the doctor's help. He was unsuccessful, but retained the power to connect with Irminsul. That power then enabled him to change what was recorded in Irminsul and erase himself, even though he didn't have much strength left.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it still ended in tragedy for his friends. It just feels so hopeless. He gave everything to do this, but it seems like he got nothing in return.
What exactly was he fighting against the betrayals of his life? What he
Please wait a moment. I want to check something.
I completely missed that, I'm sorry.
Found it. This should be the one. It turns out that I have a strange way of confirming everything he has told us.
What is it?
A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away in a corner. You should take a look.
Surprisingly, information presented to you resembles a fairy tale.
Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it?
It matches everything I said.
I authored this record myself.
Oh.
Huh? You wrote a fairy tale that somehow has something to do with the Balladeer?
When combined with the Traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory. Everything in it is a symbol for something else.
Wait. So, I've been watching a lot of, like, Genshin theories recently, and, like, one of the things that people were talking about is how, the Abyss, they wanted to grab two books. They wanted to grab the Sun and Moon book tablet thing, and they also grabbed a fairy tale from Lisa's library. That was one of the very, very, very first quests. And basically the theory was like, oh, there must be something in it. It must talk about something, but like not the full story's been released. So I'm guessing that fairy tales in this game have something to do with the actual history, and maybe Archons or whoever wrote them. I'm trying to think how to put it. Like, maybe it's kind of like the whole thing about energy. Like, energy can't be created or destroyed. It just gets dispersed around. Maybe it's a bit like that, but like with stories. So someone will, like, get an idea for a story. They'll write it down and it'll become like this fairy tale, but it's actually based on something that was changed by Irminsul. Irminsul can't, like, take that, like, memory or that whatever happened and completely, like, delete it almost. They have to kind of put it into another thing, so they make it a fairy tale, so then it's stored somewhere else, just kind of under a different, like, cover almost. Interesting.
Hold on. So this record survived from the past?
Yes. Any information about the Balladeer or the Kabuki-mono and other records will have been changed. But I wrote this story in a way that means it was left intact. Changing the information in Irminsul changes to that. But Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the Balladeer entered Irminsul.
That's incredible! What a great idea!
And sending the Traveler into Irminsul with the Balladeer must have been a further precaution. I knew he'd remember everything. This story is abstract enough that it still resonates with the present information recorded in Irminsul. But if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the one he told us, the now erased life of the Balladeer. There was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. The monster found a family of foxes, joined them, and they became friends. The monster lived with the family day and night, and everyone treated it as one of their own.
I love this.
Once in a while, the monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. I am a monstrosity, yet they are too foolish to see it. I pity them. But the monster soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree who had been abandoned by the humans. The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Even without a tail and fur like ours, you are still one of us. Furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. The only way to extinguish the flames was to make a sacrifice. A gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, "You are the cleverest among us. Surely you can help us find a way to solve this." The monster smiled, led the fox toward the fire, and murdered it. The gray fox's heart was turned into a beautiful drop of water, clear, spotless, and pure. The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, "The foxes have decided. You are the one who must be sacrificed. Take this, quench the flames, and die for your fox kin." The fire was extinguished, but the kitten lived. It left that side of the mountain and found a little bird who had a broken wing. The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live. It passed away soon after. After burying the bird, the kitten left the mountain for good. Never again would it cherish a single creature, nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly, gnashing its teeth at the moon. How it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could only return to darkness, then it would finally be peaceful and content. I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds, foxes, and cats in this world. And no one can know that they were different.
We solved it!
I remember now. This is not just the balladeer story. It is his very own memories. I made a backup so that it would be preserved no matter what happened. To become a god, he was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture, and the only reason he was able to survive is that he was a puppet. This memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, they kept it to have something to defend themselves with. Creating a deity was just the first step. Some of them wanted to be able to control it. That's why they backed up his memory for later use. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and then hid it inside an allegorical story so that it wouldn't be altered.
Huh.
It's hard to believe that this person really existed, let alone that he tried to get rid of us on more than one occasion. Paimon has no memory of him at all. He completely vanished like a puff of smoke.
The balladeer agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders, and although he was unsuccessful, he still helped you. Before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail, that Conria was where your twin first came into this world. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the senior ranks of the Fatui, but in all likelihood, they won't even remember their own Harbinger.
I've never had this feeling before. I feel like life is insignificant as a feather.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around. But still, Paimon doesn't like the way it all ended that much better.
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. We look, we see, and we comprehend, but the question still troubles us. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you give them a chance to choose their own destiny. To others looking on, this may seem like a pointless endeavor, but for him, the chance to act on his desire to disappear must have meant a lot. Never forget that even when we walk beneath dark clouds along a road filled with suffering, the light of wisdom is always there, guiding us toward a better destination. And that is what you have been doing all along.
Yeah, Nahita's right. Cheer up. How about we go get something to eat? We can pick up this heavy conversation again later.
Paimon's
Good
so
idea.
cute.
Paimon, why don't you take him out for a walk to clear his head?
You got it. Come on, Traveler. You need to get out of your head for a while. You'll feel much better after taking a walk.
That's what I always do. I'm always like...
Let's go get a snack from one of the stalls in the Grand Bazaar. That'll be sure to lift our spirits.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
It's really tough being the only one who remembers all that. But Paimon's always here to help cheer you up.
That's what I always say. Is like when people are like down and stuff. Like food is such a big thing. Like you should. It's like a cultural thing. Like feed people. It's a very. I don't know. I like Paimon, even though she's very food eccentric. It's me.
Behold, falling into the abyss.
I didn't even mean to do that.
We're here! What should we eat first?
I have a nagging feeling there's something missing, something important that I am forgetting.
Hey, are you gonna answer or what?
Sorry, just give me a minute, I'm still processing.
Alright, whatever you want. Well, Paimon will be right here when you figured stuff out. Then we can get something to eat.
Come on, brain, let's dig this out. There's got to be there somewhere. There was something about Amsel and deleting oneself. Great Lord Rudavada, the forbidden knowledge, Nahida.
What is it? Have you figured it all out?
Yes, that was it. Great Lord Rudavada. She said that no one can erase themselves from existence, not even her. Otherwise, why would she need to create her own reincarnation in Lesser Lord Kusanali to do the deletion for her? There would be no point.
Why'd you jump up all of a sudden?
No, I can't tell Paimon. She doesn't know about Greater Lord Rukhtavata. But this is crucially important detail. It's simply not possible for the Balladeer to completely erase his own existence, which means the question is, what happened to him?
Excuse me, boss. There seems to be a small problem with the last bill.
He's just
Look,
happened to be here.
Here.
Boss! Can we just slap him? You know. There he is!
Hey! Hey, wait!
You mean me?
No, not you. That kid! Didn't you see? Little rascal grabbed my last 2 fresh Sunsettias and ran off. Look, if you're gonna help out here, you can't keep spacing out, okay? What is it? Work's too boring for you? Or has the big city got too many distractions?
I wasn't paying close enough attention. Sorry, boss. I think you're right. Maybe it's the city. It's so exciting. It can be hard to focus.
Who's that guy? You know him or something?
You know everyone I know, Paimon. That guy is the Balladeer.
He's who?
The Balladeer, literally the guy
You're
we
a
were talking
strange
about.
one, kiddo. You say you don't want any money for helping out here, and then when I actually give you some work to do, you keep letting yourself get distracted. I don't want to take advantage, so I'm happy to pay you what I'd pay anyone else. But if you keep acting like this, pretty soon I won't be able to afford to.
No, please. I mean it. You don't need to pay me anything. I'm just so thankful you agreed to take on an outsider like me.
You're welcome, I guess. But I got bigger things to worry about. Look, we're all out of Sunsetias, and I promised the lady down the street I'd deliver a fruit bowl this evening.
Leave it to me. I'll find some more. Just a moment. I'll be right back.
Stop. I'm gonna level with you, kiddo. I've never met a worker who said they didn't want a wage before. And at first, I got greedy. Couldn't believe my luck. But I figured you'd start asking for something in return eventually. You don't want money. You don't take days off. And in your free time, all I see you do is wander around, taking in the sights. Are you a drifter or something?
That's right, I am. We can talk more about that later. First, let me get those fruits you needed. Sunsetias, was it? I'll be right back.
Hey, what do we do now?
Let's follow him.
Okay, stay out of sight. Don't let him see you.
He's not gonna know who I am. Where is he? Oh.
Quit following me.
Is that where this lion comes from? Quit following me. So why does he have an anime vision then? Why does he have a vision at all, actually? Confused. Doggy.
Yeah, this'll do.
Even though you say he's the balladeer, what are we planning on doing? Stealing his Sunsetias? Isn't that a bit too cruel? Shh. Oh, alright.
This should be enough. Guess I should wash them before I take them back.
I would not believe it.
Huh? You two over there. Is there something I can help you with?
He spotted us!
Yeah, we didn't make it discreet at all, did we?
You've been following me all the way from the city. I'd have to be blind not to notice.
You're right, we were following you.
Have we met before?
Yeah, kind of.
No, we haven't met. But you know me?
Yes.
I have no recollection.
It's complicated, but I do know you.
Are you absolutely sure?
Sorry, but I just can't take your word for it.
I can prove it. You're a puppet.
A puppet? What makes you think that?
Huh?
Ah!
You were right! The look on his face!
I guess you do know me after all. That is not something I share with a lot of people. Look, I'm just a wanderer. But seeing as you've gone through all this trouble to track me down, I'm sure whatever it is must be important.
There's somewhere I want to take you.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm eating sweets
but
at the moment.
please let me deliver these goods to my boss first.
Okay.
Are you really working for that guy? He said you don't want any more for it. Is that true?
Yes, I ran into him out in the wilderness during a storm, and he let me take shelter in his cart. In return, I said I'd be his helper for a while.
That's oddly nice of you.
Let me take these back. Then I'll come with you, okay?
Okay.
Then let's return to the city.
Oh. We're back!
Here you go, boss. I'll leave them right here.
Oh, you really went and picked some more. Who are these two?
Something's come up, and they need to borrow me. Sorry, boss. I'm afraid I'll be away from the stall for a while.
I was just about to pay you anyway. Go wherever you want, kid. Don't waste your time here.
What?
I get it, okay? You just wanted to help me out, to thank me for giving you shelter from the rain that day. Even then, I don't understand why you're so adamant that you don't want any pay for it. But look, it was pouring down, and there you were, sauntering along without a care in the world, like you had nowhere to be and didn't even care that it was raining. Imagine you were me for a second. It's a little weird, right? Why is this guy traveling during a rainstorm if he's not trying to get somewhere? And why is he taking a shortcut through the open country if he's not even in a hurry? But anyway, taking you in didn't put me out even slightly. You don't owe me a thing for it. Certainly not all this. Your time is valuable. You know, you should go live your life.
But I don't...
Oh, he thinks he's a kid. Not 500-year-old puppet.
No, you're right. Then I suppose this is where we say goodbye. Thank you again for taking me into the city.
Don't mention it, kiddo. I've run into all kinds of characters over the years. I just hope you find your path.
Thank you. All right, done. Thanks for waiting for me. We can go now.
This is pretty weird, having him be, like, nice and polite and stuff. Where am I going? Oh. Sanctuary of Ta-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What if Tavad is round?
What did he just say? Something about Tavat being round?
Nahida! Nahida!
What's wrong? Huh? Are you?
Hello. I do apologize for the sudden intrusion.
It's fine, you
We
came
found
to
this
me.
guy in the street, but he doesn't seem to remember anything. So, yeah, quite an eventful walk.
You tell us, Lord Kusnali, what happened at the Grand Bazaar.
You say that you are trekking across Tavad to train yourself. Many other Inazumans who describe themselves in this way call themselves Shugenja. Why do you refer to yourself as a wanderer?
Well, it seems more relevant in my case. To me, it sounds like a plant with no roots. But these two claim that they know me, and that I have a hidden past unknown even to myself.
I wouldn't call it the past, but rather... this is a difficult one to explain. I don't like to rely on using terms like this often, but in your case, it seems that it ought to be called, previous incarnation.
Oh, like a past life or something?
Yes, something far more distant than the past. So far away that you cannot perceive it.
Okay, I have to ask. What was I like in my previous incarnation? Oh, okay. I see. You want to tell me, but you can't bring yourselves to say it. Looks like I didn't have the most wonderful existence in my previous incarnation.
We were just trying to think where to start. Yeah. The fact that you're the Electro Archon's puppet that she created, or that she abandoned you, that you got adopted by some people and then they got murdered by Dottore because he wanted to experiment on you, or the fact that you befriended a child and then the child died. What was the other thing that happened? Oh yeah, you tried to become a god. You tried to like destroy a bunch of other things. Yeah, I think that's about it.
If it's that difficult to talk about, I have no doubt it will be just as difficult to hear. But I'll be able to handle it. Please, tell me the truth.
If someone told you this, though, would you
truth
believe it?
something you care a lot about?
Yes.
Then I'll be straight with you. In your previous incarnation, you did many things that would be considered evil. You nearly died because of what other people did, and many died because of you. As a non-human being, you hated gods and humans alike. You drifted from place to place, never able to settle, even where you found status and identity. You adamantly believed that you were missing a heart. Actions rooted in persistence sometimes bear bitter fruit. Sometimes, you have to let parts of yourself go, or you'll never be happy.
I gave everything I had, but it barely changed history at all.
In terms of the outcome alone, that's true.
I don't think I can judge everything I've heard purely in terms of right and wrong. Each choice a person makes belongs to a specific place and time, a chain of cause and effect, a cycle of karma and consequence.
That is the nature of truth. If one thing is right, its opposite must be wrong. And yet, dichotomies like this are not enough to explain the world in all of its complexity.
It seems like my previous incarnation wasn't the most likable individual.
We're not trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but yeah, we weren't your biggest fans.
We were each other's enemies.
If we were enemies, why are you trying to help me find the truth?
This is so frustrating! This guy's supposed to be our arch enemy, but now he's just some random stranger we met on the street! He's got so much to answer for, but we can't make him talk because he doesn't remember anything. What a weird situation.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, as the god of wisdom, I trust that everything you told me must be true.
Yes, it's all true. I can even show you the memories themselves, if you're willing.
Oh!
Please, I want to see them for myself.
Cutscene?
I want to experience my own transgressions.
Even though it will cause your present self great mental anguish?
I'm just a puppet, with no heart and no name. There is nothing in this world for me to cling to fill the void within me. Except maybe these sins that can never be undone.
Very well. As you wish.
Wait, shouldn't we go with him? This one's kind of on us for bringing him here.
Don't worry. Whatever danger I might face, it's my burden to bear.
Traveler, could I ask you to supervise him on my behalf?
Okay.
Oh, good point. Given your, unique situation, we'd better keep an eye on you.
Understood.
Thank you. Now, prepare yourselves, everyone.
Ooh, we get to go into a memory. Right, we ready? Let's go. Oh, it's a domain. I thought it was a cutscene. My bad. Who should I bring just in case? Yeah, I will bring Yelan.
Who's our target this time?
Who's our target this time?
This looks like Inazuma.
Right now, you're in a dream I created using information extracted from your memories. These memories will show you the raw truth, but be aware that enemies may react just like in the real world. Please be careful.
Sounds like an immersive experience. It's a good thing we came along.
You don't need to do this for me. I don't deserve your protection.
We never give up halfway. Well, we had to once, but that was your doing.
Alright, let's go. And now we're finishing the job.
Alright. Thanks.
It's alright.
Wanderer, this is the Shake Pavilion. In your Balladeer incarnation, this is where the Electro Archon placed you after your creation. You had a great many memories here.
Is that because this is kind of like his birthplace?
You could say that, in a sense. You'll see why shortly.
I hear footsteps.
This place is huge. I can't believe the landslide didn't fill it in. I wonder who built it. The Crystal Marrow Miners? No, there's no way. Look at this exquisite construction work, and so well preserved, too. No mining crew would be capable of this. There's someone passed out on the ground.
Who are you?
You're awake. What happened? How'd you get stuck here? Are you injured? Not a scratch. And these fine clothes. Who are you?
This man is Katsuragi, deputy to
Katsuragi.
Torichio's adopted son, Mikoshi Nagamasa. He found the Balladeer in Shake Pavilion and took him back to Tatarasuna.
And the rest is history. Well, it used to be.
In the original version of events, Katsuragi was ultimately killed by Nagamasa.
Let me get you out of here. Our people are nearby. Hang in there.
During the Tatarasuna incident, Niwa was murdered by the doctor disguised as a mechanic. The Balladeer, then known as the Kabukimono, disappeared not long after. As the second in command at Tatarasuna, responsibility for what had happened fell to Mikoshi Nagamasa. But Katsuragi had sworn lifelong loyalty to Nagamasa after the latter had once saved his life. At Katsuragi's insistence, Nagamasa killed him to put an end to the Tatarasuna incident.
Katsuragi seems like he was a good guy.
He looks like a warrior, but he has a kind face. Why couldn't he live a long and happy life?
I was just looking at the flower on top of his hat. It looks like Nilu's thing. I'm just making sure there isn't any like secrets or anything. Doesn't look like it. Oh, see? Chest. Haha.
Nagamasa, I found this young guy in a cave sealed off by a landslide. He doesn't remember his name.
Well, we need to call you something. I hear the workers are calling you the Kabukimono.
That's fine with me.
Katsuragi, report to Niwa. Tell him we have someone new joining us.
Need one? Is that how they just said his name? Need one? I thought it was Niwa. Oh. That rude. Okay. Oh, we've definitely been. Oh, Jesus. Okay, 1 second. 1 second then. Okay, doesn't look like there's anything else.
Huh? What are we doing back here?
I hear voices. Same.
Whoa, this is where you were born? It's pretty, but there's nobody here.
I was abandoned, like you. I lived here for a while at first, but there's nothing for us here. We can't stay.
Okay. I heard
heard my mom and dad used to make swords, but the factory manager died, and then my dad got sick.
No, I've just realized.
He kept coughing all the time, just like me. Then Mom started coughing too.
But you can't. You promised me.
Yup, we're family now. We're gonna be together forever and ever.
This child didn't have a name. Or rather, the balladeer didn't know what to call him. His father died before he could name him. After his mother died, the child stayed in their straw hut alone. Some of the neighbors helped to raise him. After leaving Tatarasuna, the balladeer ran into this child who didn't have a name, just like him. They made a promise to live together.
What happened to the child then?
He died from his illness while he was still very young. The balladeer came home one day and found that he had stopped breathing.
Hey! What's wrong? Say something! You promised me we could be family! You're no different from Niwa and all the others. You betrayed me too. The voices have gone. It looks like the memory ends here.
Let's keep going.
Okay, that was quite a jarring scene. Oh. Shoot me. Oh, no chests this time? Come on. No, okay. Where are we now?
You do realize you're blocking my path.
I come not to obstruct you. I've been waiting. What you are truly is a weapon. One that could be wielded with an iron will. Or you could continue to drift aimlessly.
Are you trying to win me over?
Long-fated rebellion has begun. Why not take your place at the banquet and join those who shall feast?
Cry louder!
Right now. A sight to behold. Emerge. Right here. Emerge.
Miscalculated.
Sorry, I really shouldn't fight when
Too slow.
Text dialogue, there's talking. Also my what's his face? Wanderer is pretty
Quit following me.
good built, but like he's not built great really. Yeah, look at this crit rate. Terrible. I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, his artifacts are terrible. Like this one, I hate it. This one, I hate it. This one, it's terrible. Yeah, he's not built great at all, but he does nice damage. Oh!
This place is dark.
The Delusion Factory.
Paimon knows this place. It's the Delusion Factory in Inazuma.
In the original version of events, the Traveler once encountered the balladeer here.
Such a creepy atmosphere. And so familiar. ...
I remember this. It was an unsettling place.
Hey, look over there!
Well, well, my fair lady. Is this rundown factory and these incompetent fools all for me? Wow. You shouldn't have.
Huh. What do you have to gain from belittling your subordinates? You might not want to admit it, but you are a part of this plan. Perhaps you find fighting in the Abyss to be a more meaningful use of your time? Oh, but of course, even this pales in comparison to being experimented on by the Doctor.
What a sharp tongue you have. Funny how negotiating never seems to be your strong suit. For the task ahead, I suggest you keep your true feelings to yourself.
Save your breath. I know what I have to do.
I'm sure you think so, but I still think you need to hear it. Don't start thinking you're invincible, and don't let your emotions get in the way.
Surely you're not worried about me.
I just can't have you getting in my way. You and Child never fail to find ways to complicate things.
I'm merely lighting a little fire in this chaotic nation. But you, being tossed out like trash, must make you want to destroy it completely. Do you remember the last time you were here? That was a lot of swordsmiths you killed. I'm sure the descendants of the Raiden Gokaden are still suffering the consequences now. Look at you. Oh, don't get so sentimental. Now, give that poor little tongue of yours a rest and stop pretending like you're above everyone else. Bye then. See you at the victory feast.
I'll ignore her.
Poor little tongue? She's playing with fire talking to me like that. Who does she think she is? Forget it. Someone might find me here any minute now. I should prepare to give them a warm welcome.
The plot does not end here. There is more of this story to come. Wanderer, are you able to continue?
Yes. Please don't worry about me.
Why are you staring at me in silence? Can't you think of a nicer way to express yourself?
I'm under no obligation to be nice to you. Besides, I thought nothing mattered to you except results in your own interests. Isn't that right, witch?
Muddle-headed puppet. You're only number 6 because you can take more abuse than other humans. Do you really count that as an asset?
Oh. You're about as much fun to be around as a raging inferno. But before we murder each other, it'd be best if we finish our duties.
Faster? Okay, faster.
What am I doing? I'm like half doing things, sorry.
Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey.
Behold!
Yeah, sorry, I was half doing things, half just kind of...
Quit following me.
In my own world, to be perfectly honest. Alright, doesn't look like there's any, like, chests or anything. Right, next one.
Looks like we've arrived in Sumeru. Is that?
Considering that Amorta's sage, Nafis, refused to join this project, I'll take part in the experiment in his place.
Welcome. I look forward to a fruitful collaboration.
When do we start?
You seem impatient. You should know that becoming a god is far from a trivial affair.
The biological transformation is a lengthy process. As such, I too would recommend that we commence as soon as possible. In the event that a successful connection is established, his body will become permanently bound to the machine, and he will be unable to move independently of it.
Nothing worse than what I've been through before then, Doctor.
You were the most resilient test subject I ever came across. Thanks to you, I was able to garner a great deal of information. Alas, after that, you were under orders to remain in the Abyss. We barely saw each other, and it became difficult to further refine the knowledge I had gained.
That was gracefully worded. Ever wonder what they think if they knew that nothing matters to you, apart from your crazy experiments?
I suggest you speak to me in a more respectful tone, Scaramouche. The mere fact of your utility does not make you indestructible.
The doctor again? That was uncomfortable to watch.
That person gives off a very sinister energy.
He's the doctor, he's behind all of this.
It's normal for him to give you the creeps. He scares the bejeebers out of Paimon.
Let's move on.
Oh. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything around here, although.
You're a god. Do you think I'm evil?
If you accept that he is you, just as you are you, then yes, you are evil.
In your eyes, are there any differences between humans and puppets?
Do you think there are any differences between your present self and your previous and future incarnations? If not, then what are the differences between humans and puppets? Whoever has tasted the joys and sorrows of life in the human realm is human. Whoever has loved and lost, cried with grief, howled with rage at the tragedy of death that eclipses the miracle of life, they are human too.
I've seen enough of my past. If possible, I'd like to reclaim the sins that are mine to bear. No matter the consequences, I won't run from blame or punishment. Whatever I am due, let it come to pass.
Are you saying...
Can you return my memories to me?
Huh? But won't that mean you'll lose your current identity?
I've always believed that human lives follow a set of rules, with each person being a collection of past experiences. As a puppet living in a human world, my life is subject to the same rules.
Regaining your memories means reverting completely to your previous incarnation. All the emotions that you discarded will return to you. Are you sure you want to do this?
I've lived with a void in my chest my whole life. My creator didn't need me. And ever since I awoke, I've just drifted from one place to the next. But then I met you. And I finally realized that reclaiming my missing sins might be my one opportunity to become my true self.
A person can erase themselves even though the original battlefield is gone, the person will live in its place. Maybe. Hello. Are a person's sin as
I've always felt I have an innate tendency to yearn for something more, in a way that goes deeper than for most people. But for all my soul-searching as a Shugenja, I've never fully understood it. Looking at it now, it seems that I brought this curse upon myself. So I beg you, grant me this opportunity to gain a purpose, to change my destiny, and end my wandering.
Very well. Since your mind is made up, I will return to you that which is yours.
Cutscene?
You have made your decision. Now, take this.
Set him free.
A puppet? What's he doing here?
It's...
You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful.
What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled. This is... my...
Is he alright?
What? What the hell is going on? Alright, ka-ching burst.
All worthless dross will be purged. That's why this won't be the end.
Wait, that's how he got his vision? I didn't even notice he didn't have one.
Die. This is trying my patience.
Ow.
Have you got all your memories back now?
Oh, dude, don't make me do this with
Have you
no one.
got any more stupid questions?
Like, I've done this battle so... Oh, hey, Leon. Elan. The everlasting lord of the arcane wisdom.
Imbecile! Get out of my sight.
It disappeared. Did we win?
What did you expect? I'd never lose to that.
There's the tone of voice again. You're definitely back to your old self. Wait, but it was you inside that thing too. What have you got to be smug about?
Sorry. I'm harsh on myself and everyone else. Just the way I am.
Now you've recovered your memories, the past will catch up with you.
You sound like you're concerned about me. But don't worry. Thanks to you, even if I didn't change a thing, at least I now know the truth.
The memory recovery seems to have been a success. This dream has served its purpose.
Come on. Let's continue this outside.
Me, myself, but not I. What? No chest? Oh. No chest? Rude.
Welcome back, traveler. Paimon, Balladeer.
It feels like we just went on a really long journey. Paimon's exhausted.
You don't like being addressed by that name?
It's fine. But I was just thinking, I should probably change it.
You won't go by Balladeer anymore?
After learning about everything the doctor did, there's no way I can carry on using a name connected to him. I'm not planning on returning to the Fatui. and they wouldn't take me back anyway. Recent events will have affected a lot of people, and they might not even remember who the 6th is.
So, you're quitting the Fatui for good?
Let's call it a tactical retreat.
It's like you said, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Everything may look futile, but it wasn't completely meaningless. At least I made a lot of people forget about me.
But that doesn't mean your own past has disappeared.
Of course.
And your main goal, for which you gave up everything you had, you weren't able to achieve it. I hope you can see and understand that. Changing the world, changing the past, changing the fates of other people, these are not simple things to accomplish. What you are looking for is complete annihilation. But this is just a fantasy. Even if the Balladeer is removed from existence, the world will not heed your will.
Indeed. How ridiculous.
Do you regret doing all that when you've gotten so little in return?
Even if I'm completely worthless, there's nothing in the world worth regretting. Lesser Lord Kusanali, you purposely left that information in Irminsul, didn't you?
Yes, and I took pains to make sure that you'd acquire that information naturally.
Why would you go to such lengths? You trying to win me over too?
In all honesty, your past experiences have made you a useful asset to Sumeru and to me. Winning you over was indeed a part of my plan. But before that, I wanted to tell you the truth about your past. If all I wanted to do was use you, then I'd be no different from the doctor.
Very clever.
I guess you could say that's one of my virtues.
Utility to others is what gives me worth. So if embracing my sins is what it takes to make me useful again, so be it.
Nahida doesn't see you that way.
Oh, right. I almost forgot. You're the good guys. You're into justice and all that. Sorry if I have a slightly different perspective on things, but I don't feel like I've been duped. The wisest leaders are fated to end up with the best helpers. I can live with that.
I'm glad you're able to think of it in that way. Traveler, in the future, I'll continue to search Irminsul more deeply and see what secrets can be uncovered. Including the beginning of your twins' journey recorded in Irminsul. What exactly happened before and after that point? I want to know as well.
Thank you. Let's hope you can find some answers.
I will try.
Traveler.
Yes.
After I dove into the information torrents in Irminsul, why did you go to Inazuma?
Because I wanted to know what you changed.
So that's how you found out whose fate had changed. And how. Well, whatever your reasons, you did me a favor. And I'll do everything I can to pay it back.
I didn't do it for all this for a reward.
Borrowing and returning are the only real relationships between individuals. I'll balance the books one day. Don't you worry.
That's not true. A relationship between two people is not simply a ledger that can be reset to zero. I think deep down you realize this. People who show up in your life don't just evaporate like water drops and leave nothing behind. There is no such thing as balancing the books. Some things in this world can never be brought back, and they can never be changed, which is why there is emotion in the human world. Everything that you feel is real and lasting, and whatever is missing in you will not be made whole. To be human is to live with imperfections. You can choose whether or not you want to be human.
But humans can't live without a heart, can they? Anyway, I gave up trying to become a human a long time ago.
You understand what pain is perfectly well, even without a heart. You're just bearing your feelings. The past is set in stone, but you can keep moving on. And the longer your future lasts, the shorter your past will become, until one day, it is but a tiny fraction of your life.
Sounds like you've got a future planned out for me.
I hope you can give Nahida a chance.
Everything's ended up being pretty darn complicated. Paimon doesn't even know where to start, but the most important thing now is that you need to follow Nahida. Otherwise, all our efforts will have been for nothing.
Then I guess I'll be helping you from behind the scenes from now on.
I'm glad that you've accepted our proposal. Why don't you choose a new name to celebrate?
Ooh, ooh, ooh! Paimon wants to pick an ugly nickname for you, too!
Why?
Because Paimon still doesn't like you that much.
Then I hope we don't see much of each other in the future.
A name is life's first gift. You didn't say it out loud, but I know that's what you're thinking. The Traveler and Paimon have helped you a lot. If you can't decide on a new name, maybe you can ask them for ideas.
Huh? You want us to decide?
No! Paimon only does nicknames. If it's a serious name you're after, it's all yours.
Have you got anything?
Oh god. You can attain an item and something stroke from the Arkham Quest Interlude, Inversion, which allows you to change Eron's Adrift's Wanderer's Animo name. Please take note some names cannot be utilized in this change. Once you have renamed this character, the interface in the game going forward will display the name you have chosen. There is a limit on a number of times you can rename this character, so do so with care. Alright, so I had a look, and there's apparently an air god called Boreas. It's the god of the north wind. I don't know, I was trying to go with something... Boreas... Oh, there's a bunch. Oh, God. Boris. I want something I could be able to say. Oh, Aether is one. Aether is the Greek god of air. Aether in battle with a lion-headed giant. Okay. I don't know. He's a Capricorn. Don't know, I was trying to pick something that, like, I think I like Boreas. Wait, what? Venti is actually known as an what? The Animo, the wind god of Greek. Oh. Oh, Venti's a real... Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it, yes.
Oh, alright. If you say so.
I know, not as fun, but still.
There.
There's more.
Now you have a name of your own.
What about a nickname? Are you done yet?
Still thinking. Stop rushing me!
Take your time. I don't need to see you again until you've thought of one.
What do you plan to do next?
Everyone who manipulated me and made me suffer will have to pay the price.
You mean the Fatui?
The doctor, at least.
Now that your stance has changed, I believe your future path will change accordingly. But it won't be immediate. You still need some time to compose yourself.
One more thing. There are still some descendants of the Raiden Gokuden living in Inazuma. Some of them know. Well, they ought to know about the connection between Raiden Gokuden and myself.
There are still some descendants of the Raiden Gokuden. Descendants of the Raiden Gokuden.
I don't plan to leave Sumeru for the time being. If you see them in Inazuma, Please tell them that I was the one responsible for the Raiden Gokuden's downfall.
Oh, descendants, not descenders. Okay, I got very confused. Wait, what?
Even though the events have been erased from the world, they still deserve to know the truth.
I see. That is up to you.
Huh? But if we do that, then...
It's fine. Let them stab their blades into my chest if they so desire. Maybe that's how it always should have been.
Fine.
No nonsense. I like it. Alright, let's call it a day. Goodbye, wise deity. And you too.
He's gone.
What he went through today would have been like living an entire lifetime in an instant. He'll need some time to calm down.
Yeah, true. But even so, after everything that's happened, he doesn't seem quite as fierce anymore.
There was some bumps along the way, but it's all over now.
So we can finally go eat? Paimon is starving.
Thank you both. I hope you will find somewhere nice to go and relax for a while.
That was a lot. And long.
I've got it! I can end my novel with some words from Mikoshi Nagamasa.
You mean because everyone else in the story is dead?
Yeah, I heard that Mikoshi Nagamasa died at a ripe old age. He's the perfect fit to be the narrator of the epilogue.
I mean,
The dark clouds had dissipated, but they continued to cast their shadow in Mikoshi Nagamasa's mind for decades to come. Then, one night, as an old man, he had a dream. On the night when that prized blade, the Daitatara Nagamasa, was forged, the people rejoiced, and there was painting, dancing, and drinking. All these expressions of joy melted down in the furnace fire and turned into red clouds that rallied around the final sunrise that Mikoshi Nagamasa saw in his lifetime. Life is a story too long to be told, a journey that you must walk to behold.
Are we still on the same quest? Is this now my house or something?
It's about time we had a break. As soon as you stop, all the tiredness and hunger comes rushing back.
Rest up, Paimons. Rest up, Paimon. I'll buy some delicious treats as a reward.
Wow, great! Huh? Look at the vase.
What about it?
Did someone break it while they were cleaning the room or something? Like, Paimon doesn't remember there being a cleaner.
Wait, she doesn't remember that? That night we stayed here, Paimon bumped the table after being startled by something to do with the balladeer and broke the vase. But the balladeer erased his existence. He changed the world. So why is the vase still broken? Maybe if you're like saying the word balladeer at the time you do something, you forget what you were doing.
You sound lost and confused.
Who the hell is this? Who's that?
I know why you are troubled. Any who knew of this would find their mind overwhelmed.
Who is this?
Huh? Is there someone here talking to us?
Wait, is it is it the sustainer of heavenly principles?
Unfortunately, the fate of Tevat cannot easily be changed. perhaps a god may have a slim chance. But for anyone else, who can say?
No, that's not her voice. Or is it the Hydro Archon from Fontaine?
When a small animal runs into a tree trunk, though the tree may sway, it is not displaced. The same is true of fate. Like a vase that falls to the ground, whether it is broken by a cat or by a bird, the result is still a broken vase, is it not?
Who are you? How do you know about all this?
History does not change easily, but human hearts can. Believe your own eyes. Only that which you see is true. What is unseen is but an illusion.
Or is it one of the Harbingers?
The voice has disappeared. And who the heck was that? And what were they doing coming out of nowhere and saying all that scary stuff?
Believe my eyes. Does she mean I should trust my memories?
Anyway, that face is still lying there broken on the ground. Should Paimon go get someone to clean it up? It feels wrong just leaving it there. Just a moment. Paimon will be right back.
I wonder what else awaits me in the future. Huh? You're just gonna end it like that? Nice. Who was that? Oh my god. Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, look at me with only one quest.
Relax.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That was a really good quest. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That ending bit has to be something to do with Fontaine. Although I'm confused who it is, because if it's the Hydro Archon, like, I don't really know how she would be able to talk to us like that, because Venti, Zhongli, and Shogun aren't able to do that. Only Nahida's been able to do that. So I'd be very, very surprised if it was her. It could be one of the Harbingers using the power of the Dendro Archon, because obviously Dottore had that, and maybe he gave it to one of the other people, or I don't know, whatever. So that's a possibility. But yeah, I'm going to end it here before my brain melts. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed seeing this Archon quest. We're going to do a few of the other story quests, as, you know, we do have, what's his face, Tegnari, Sinos, Nilus, Nahidas, and Alhaithams to do. So I'm going to get to that at some point. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in my next video. So I will see you guys then.